Hello, I'm Steve Kay, Council Member at Large, and I'm here at the trailhead for the Legacy Trail at the Northside Y. And with me I have Scott Thompson,
yes, sir,
who is the bike ped coordinator. Actually, let me let you give the whole title, and then I'll ask you a few questions about what's going on with bike ped.
Okay. Well, I'm a senior planner, and my official position is the bike and pedestrian coordinator. I work both for the Lexington-Fayette Urban County Government as well as the Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Okay, and our viewers probably don't know the Metropolitan Planning Organization is a joint effort of Fayette County and Jessamine County. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
To do regional planning.
Right, correct. We oversee both areas for long-range and short-range transportation projects, which do include bike and pedestrian facilities in that planning.
Yeah. Okay, so we got ourselves a sunny day, but it's a little chilly out here. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking about bicycling and pedestrians. So can you tell us a little bit, first of all, about what's Lexington doing now? Why are we here at this particular trailhead, and how does this function?
Well, currently we have 70 plus miles of bicycle facilities in Lexington, Fayette County. 28 miles of that is on-road bike facilities in the form of bike lanes or sharrows, which are shared lane markings.
Okay, and so then before you go, the on-road, people may not, again, understand. So there are some places where there are dedicated lanes.
Correct.
And some places where the roads are marked, essentially alert motorists, right? Is that
right? So when we have situations where we have like a limited right-of-way or distance that we can lane distance that's actually usable for automobiles, but the speed limits are 25, 35 miles an hour, we'll use a facility that's called a sharrow, and that's a lane marking that kind of indicates where bicyclists should be in the lane, and it also indicates to motorists that bicycles may be present in the lane. So it's kind of a newer type of marking, but it's been proven to help with safety and awareness for both cyclists and motorists.
Okay, in those places where there is a shared lane, what's the responsibility of the cyclist? What's the responsibility of the motorist?
Well, in those situations, you know, the person on the bike has the ability to use the full lane if they need to, or they can ride more to the right-hand side of the lane as well. It also helps to encourage them to get into the lane closer to intersections, so they're better positioned to handle the intersections and be seen. And
so more into the middle of the lane when they get to an intersection. So if I'm a motorist and I'm on a shared lane, I see a bicyclist, they're probably going to move over more in front of me as we get to an intersection.
Yes, generally speaking, and also for motorists, it kind of indicates where the person on the bike may be in the lane, because most of the time the sharrows are located about 4 foot from the edge of the curb to the center of the marking, in many cases, which is generally in the right-hand tire lane of the lane, and in some cases we locate them in the center of the lane, especially if it's in a situation where there might be parked cars on that road, because we want to avoid the door conflict with the person on the bike.
Okay, and the difference between that and we're standing in the beginning of a dedicated bike ped trail, is that correct?
Correct. This is a shared use path, and one that gets used quite a bit. This extends from here 8 miles out to the Kentucky Horse Park, and so this facility is completely off-road.
Okay.
So it's probably one of the safest conditions for a bike and pedestrian, because there is no motor vehicle allowed, so you don't have that difference in physical prowess, I guess, on the road or on the trail.
And in that 8 miles, are there any places where the trail intersects with a street that has more vehicular traffic?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Newtown Pike is a pretty difficult intersection to get across. It's interesting when we have congestion management meetings and things. They talk about seeing bleeps in their data for when someone pushes the crosswalk, how it affects traffic, because it gives a longer delay time for the lights so that people have enough time to cross that intersection. But other than that intersection, it's primarily a shared use path, so that there are no other real conflicts.
Okay, and the intention, I know, is to extend this to the Isaac Murphy Memorial Garden, which will go through more shared use. Can you say a little bit about what the intent? What's going to happen here?
The remainder of the trail, a portion of it will be shared use, and then the rest will be on road. And there are currently two routes that were being explored, one on 3rd Street and one on 4th Street. And I'm not 100% sure if the actual alignment has been picked, but Keith Levin would be able to let us know for sure where that is.
Okay, he works in engineering.
Correct. And he's in charge of that portion of the project. But the money is there, and it's going to be a complete facility when the rest of that is built. And I think it'll be a great addition to the trail.
Okay, so let's shift back for a minute to the question of when the bicyclists are on the road with automobiles. There's some concern about safety, of course. What do you advise, or how do you address the issue of the difficulty when there are bicyclists and motorists?
Well, there's a couple of things. The safety issue is kind of a threefold issue. Human error is kind of one of those things that we don't have a lot of control over, but we do have some control over the design of facilities, which we use standards for that type of things that are proven engineering standards for design that try to make as safe a condition as possible. We also encourage people to, if they're new to riding bikes, especially on road, to take a safety course. There are several league certified instructors in and around the Lexington area that offer classes on how to ride.
Okay, and if I was interested in learning more about those, where do I go?
You could contact the YMCA, or you could go to the League of American Bicyclists. It's a website, and it's actually a organization that was formed. Oh gosh, I can't remember. I don't know the exact date, but it was in the late 1800s, and it was actually to petition the federal government to build roads for bicycles, not for automobiles. It was long before the automobile was present. So I always think that's kind of interesting that roads were originally built for bikes. But that would be one way. We also do some promotion and outreach through the Share the Road campaign. We try to reach both motorists and people who ride bikes and make them aware of what the rules of the road are.
Okay. Can you say a little bit more about what that program entails, or how people would know about it?
Yeah, the Share the Road campaign is a part of, it's kind of a twofold thing. We look at it, one, from an investment in public health, because there is a Move It People component of it, where we try to encourage people to get out and walk, get out and ride a bike, to run some of their errands or to do some of the things that they would normally do in a vehicle. But we also do public safety campaigns in the form of panels on a bus, where you may have seen recently we had 6 different signs, and 3 of them were geared towards motorists and 3 of them were geared towards people who ride bikes, and they reiterated some general rules that we should try to abide by. For instance, leaving 3 foot around a person on a bike when you pass them in a motor vehicle for safety. And then for people who ride bikes, things like be safe, be seen, wear reflective clothing, use lights. And then, respect the red. We quite often you'll see people, blow through a stoplight, and I think that applies to both. So,
right.
And we've had those on billboards as well as on the Lextran buses. Okay. So that's another piece of it.
And so why does the city or the county or ourselves and the MPO, why is there an interest in bicyclists and in encouraging that?
Well, it's several things. Obviously there's the public health element, which is extremely important. Mm-hmm. We all know that that's a burden on society as far as money is concerned. But we also know that our population is growing, and that congestion and air pollution are big components of transportation. And it's very, very expensive to increase capacity, and so there's a big push to get people out of their cars and onto buses and onto bikes and onto foot, to help with air pollution and help with congestion and help increase public health.
Okay, and how are we doing? Are we getting more bicyclists? Is that something that people are taking up more?
Yeah, we are. I mean, obviously we've seen an increase over the last decade, and which is pretty kind of runs pretty close to the national trend.
So what is that? I mean,
we have.
What's the increase?
Oh gosh! According to the American Community Survey, we're up in the last decade 66%, and over the last 20 years 91%.
Okay, so that's
yeah, I mean,
off a small base, I guess.
Right, those are percentages. I mean, of the mode share, it's a little less than 1% of the mode of the travel mode share. We have, according to that same survey, currently bicycle commuters of 1,019. Now that's people who, when they're called on the phone, say, I ride my bike to work every day. So someone like me who does it 2 or 3 days a week, I don't count. So that's pretty good. That's actually pretty good for our population. We rank 38th out of the 70 cities that are the most populous in the United States. So I think that's pretty good.
Okay. Well, we're coming up to time here, but is there anything else you'd like to add that people should know about kind of what we're doing in our community with bicycling and pedestrian safety?
Sure. Well, moving forwards, we are looking to create a more connected and complete system. We currently have some gaps in our system, and we're looking for ways to complete those out. We feel like the more people that get out there and ride bikes, the more that it will become the norm, and motorists will see people on bikes as a norm and be more aware that they're out there, and hopefully that will increase the safety. And then we're always looking to do more public outreach and safety campaigns, which we will continue to do that annually, no matter what. So lots of big things happening.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you for coming out, especially on this slightly chilly day.
Yes, sir.
Not perfect for standing out, and thank you all for watching.